Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jeffrey Darty, the guy humming. You know him. That's Wayne Steiger. And it's not your normal Sunday if you're here, and you're not your normal Sunday kind of person if you're here either. So I think it's a good mix. Nice to have you all. And Wayne, I was just sharing with you, I had an experience yesterday that I don't often have. I spent about an hour and a half shoveling snow.
That's, I'm sorry. I think of you more of the sand guy walking on the beach of, you know, the place that Clearwater.
Yeah,
Not,
we don't get so much of that snow in Clearwater. I mean, they have snow there, but it's different.
yeah, yeah. It's a kind of comes up from the south.
It's different. Yeah, the snow that comes from the south.
That's what I gotta say. Well,
And I
so
learned something about dogs too. I would have never believed this if I hadn't seen it. There was a German Shepherd here that was out there with me, and I was taking shovels full of snow. And I mean, this dog is inches away from me, and I could not hit this dog with a shovel full of snow. And she was all over the place. It was a great game for her, but I could not believe. And even she would go behind this table out there where she couldn't see me, but I could see her in the reflection. And I would throw the snow over this table, and it should have landed right on top of her, but somehow she knew it was coming and darted out of the way many times.
they've got ESP. I'm telling you.
And then Wayne, she started to taunt me. She came running up to me, barking like, "You can't get me." I would throw it, and I wouldn't get her.
And they say dogs have no souls.
But then I felt so bad. There's another dog here, and he's a kind of an older golden doodle, and he was standing there, and I thought he might enjoy it too. So I picked up a great big thing of snow and threw it at him, and it just covered him. He didn't even budge. He looked at me like, "What'd you do that for?" Like he was going to cry, and I hurt his feelings.
It's like, man, I'm just out here just digging the scene.
Poor thing.
Poor dog. Well, that's good company for you, though. Animals are just great.
I've never had a dog in my life, so it's a completely new experience for me.
Well, now, where's the cat? Where's your cat?
Rooney is in attendance, but he was not out in the snow.
Okay. How's Rooney digging this scene?
Rooney is adjusting. You know, he's never been on vacation before, so it's a little different for him, but I think he prefers it to being left alone in the cold, empty, dark bunker by himself.
Yeah, that's isolation. Right.
Rooney has his meaties.
Yeah.
So he's in good shape.
Well, it's a cool cat. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
He
I can see
cool
the dog behind you. So,
oh, can you?
Yeah, that must be the German Shepherd.
Yes,
okay.
The young German Shepherd.
I tell you what. Excellent.
And how's Dancer?
Doing fine. She's actually laying in front of the fireplace. So
she's smart. Does she like the snow?
No. We got about a foot, so I have to dig out her path to the backyard.
Oh my! Yeah, so she's a princess.
Oh yeah, yeah. If she could, I could actually. She'd probably like me to build her a lift. Take her outside, down, back.
But
up.
Wayne, I learned another thing too. You know, being from Florida, I don't understand some of these idioms, but I learned that the true meaning of that. Well, not the true meaning, but I can see where it comes from. Of that age-old saying that says never eat yellow snow.
That's what Frank Zappa was trying to get across. And Frank Zappa was definitely one of the, I think, much underappreciated 20th century philosophers.
Oh, I would agree with that. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So it's a different world here in flyover country, Wayne, deep in the heart of flyover country.
Yeah. So how are you digging this snow? I mean, for a Floridian, it's got to be an experience.
I do like it. I lived in Lake Tahoe for several years, 3 years, so I'm well accustomed to snow. But it's been a long time.
Were you on South Lake?
I lived in South Shore. I actually lived in Zephyr Cove, Nevada.
Yeah. I have
right on the state line.
Relatives that have property up there.
And Wayne, I got this email. I think it was a comment on one of the shows, and I can't quote it exactly, but it was something like, "You're such a liar. You're so stupid. How can you read the Bible so many times and say that you've never seen this verse before?" Of course, I feel sorry for that person because they don't understand what true revelation and true study and true spiritual development is about, because that's the way it is. You read and study, and you study and read because you learn more and more and more. And I feel sorry for people that haven't learned anything in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. if I believed what I believed 5 years ago, that would be indicative in my mind of a lack of growth and progress. And just yesterday, Wayne, I think it was yesterday or the day before, going over something about one of my great subscribers. This is one thing I want to say about this, and I think you would agree. And I know that you do it before the show, but together we can just speak favor on the lives of all these people here in the chat room. But some shows, Wayne, are set up where, one guy's the guy or one girl's the girl, and they give all the information. They break down all the truth. They're the leader. They're the guru, whatever. That's not the case with Christian Whistleblower, and I don't think it's the case with your channel either. It's very collaborative. I get a lot of information from the folks that are my subscribers, and I bring out a lot of what I teach and share comes from them, and they work together with me. It's more of a family and a group that's growing together rather than a top-down, orthodoxy type of thing. And someone put me on to, I forget what they mentioned about the scapegoat, and as I went and looked at the scapegoat, there's no reason to take that word and make it scapegoat. It was a proper name, Azazel. And Wayne, it just shows that from the very beginning, the tabernacle, the temple, was set up to be a portal to invite in a demonic being once a year. And Yahweh was making a deal with this being to, as long as Yahweh let him come in, he would let Yahweh rule the world. And now you got this third temple coming up, and I'm beginning to see why they want it, because since that last temple burned in AD 70, they haven't been able to bring this guy in anymore, Wayne.
Yeah. I think he's got a surprise coming this time. Now, he's got devoted followers. But yeah, I think it's going to be a big surprise.
But it's all starting to make sense to me. I thought the third temple was just to sell books and make movies, but there's more to it. They really do want it back. They want it back not out of any spiritual or religious devotion, but they want it back because they're trying to manifest power and even worldly power. If you can get a church, a mosque, and a temple on that site and unite all the Abrahamic religions, I think they figure we've been fighting each other for thousands of years. That hasn't worked. If we join forces, we can defeat everything and split up the spoils amongst us. And again, I think they have a surprise coming.
And if there's a book called The Search for the Historical Jesus by Dr. Dr. Charles. And in there, he brings out one thing that most people don't know about Islam. Islam was started by the Vatican.
Do we have, is there a data trail to that, Wayne, or is that speculative?
They started it initially started in 540. It began by the wars that the Vatican started amongst the nomadics.
Because I've always had that thought. I just haven't been able to nail it down and say, here's a paper trail, here's a doctor, or not a doctor.
Check out his book. It's a thick one, but check out his book. He details the paper trail. Islam is nothing more than, how shall I say this, pseudo Catholicism.
But guess what, Wayne? It's not a surprise, because I think I discovered, I don't know if it's to everybody's satisfaction or not, but that is perfectly in line with the fact that you're not going to believe this. You know who William Tyndale is, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As a Christian, what do you think about William Tyndale?
Well, he was, in his time, he was a pioneer.
What if I told you that I was able to prove yesterday that Tyndale was a Jesuit plant spy for the Vatican within the Protestant Reformation itself?
Does not surprise me.
And then he goes right along with this creating of Islam. Think how smart that is. If you're going to create a religion, you also want to create an opposition. It's just like the Republican Democratic false paradigm. They're creating both sides of the paradigm, and they've been selling it to us, and we've been eating it up for at least 2,000 years, Wayne.
And never, and never bothering checking the facts. Someone asked me yesterday, well, why'd you leave Christianity? And I said, it failed the background check.
Absolutely. That's so well put. And you know what, Wayne? This is just a little itch. I can't prove it yet, but I've got an itchy little feeling that even Martin Luther himself was Jesuit aligned.
Yeah, no doubt. I see, if we were to dig deeper, I wonder, I know this sounds strange.
Everybody that might have ever been to church.
You know, I wonder many times about the Templars and the Reformation.
And Blazing River makes a great point, and I think I've said this before, which is why it seems so brilliant to me, that the Jesuits are the Vatican CIA, or they are the SS of the Vatican.
They are. They powerful, powerful. You know, they invoke magic.
No doubt about it.
Powerful magic.
Interestingly enough, they had from what I can tell, outside of the Book of Acts, if you count the Book of Acts, the Jesuits had the very first Amy Semple McPherson, the very first Mary McDonald, the very first woman that would speak in tongues, give tongues and interpretation of tongues. And it was this Catholic, obviously, nun who was Loyola of Ignatius's confessor, or she was hers. I think it was probably she was hers. But she gave the Jesuit movement its spiritual understanding of how to take on the Protestants. So the Pentecostals were also part of the great Jesuit counter-Reformation. It's all, I mean, there's a little puppet show downstairs here that the kids play with, and it's just a puppet show, Wayne, and we're too stupid to realize we're sitting in a puppet theater. Yeah.
And we buy it. We buy it. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, and it's not that hard, but I contend to you this, Jeff Doherty. I contend that there is a wall of kimchi coming.
There is, and I'm going to get that puppet show out as a background for my next program.
That would be fabulous, my friend, because it broadcasts a psychic message. And I think that there's going to be, and I'll just
say, if there's any puppets down there, Wayne, I could actually use some puppets.
Oh, that would be phenomenal.
You know, here's a trivia question.
Well, you can always do sock puppets.
Trivia question. Do you know how Jim and Tammy Baker got their start in the ministry?
No.
Puppet shows.
Were they?
Yes. And they've been playing with puppets ever since. And the funny thing is, Jim Baker's homosexual, bisexual, and, hiding it and, sleeping with everything, stealing money, cashing checks, making wrecks. And there's still a bunch of puppets that are listening to that fool today. He's still making money.
Yeah, I mean, and they yeah.
And I sat there in person and watched him and that John David whatever dude that the two of them were tag teaming Jessica. What was her name? Jessica.
I remember Jessica. Yes,
yeah. Jessica Hahn.
Jessica Hahn.
They literally had been out tag teaming her at a hotel, and they came in, and I was in the studio when they were doing the show. They came in and were talking about. Boy, we had some great body ministry this afternoon, didn't we? Oh, yeah, Brother Jim, that was some really good body ministry, some of the best. And they're talking about double teaming this poor girl who made a little money out of it, so good for her. But, yeah, that's what it's all about.
And I tell you what, sometimes it just pisses me off. When I think of the con, get that con out of my face. I don't know what happened.
Get that con out of my face.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, somebody mentioned Jimmy Swaggart. I'll say this for Jimmy Swaggart. I knew Jimmy Swaggart, and Jimmy had some trouble keeping his zipper in the upright and locked position. But that's a guy right there that could make 6 cents out of a nickel. He made millions and millions of dollars selling gospel records. Never took a penny but himself. So yeah, he had some trouble with the ladies, but he was in his heart. I think heart of heart's a good man, but he just couldn't get over that thing. And then he decided he didn't have to, and he knew everything. And that's when we really get in trouble.
Well, I would suggest that when a mere physical mortal begins to touch the divine energy, which is within us all. I mean, if we're an immortal spirit, we are immortal energy. But here's my point. When you start getting it in concentrated doses, like, for instance, in religious rituals, ceremonies, circles, the sexual energy becomes really strong.
Oh, it's incredible.
And every church I've ever seen, they all had it in it.
You know what's funny, Wayne? You mentioned that at Jimmy Swaggart Bible College, at the height of this whole thing, and I can remember being in a service at Family Worship Center, and it was packed, 7,000 plus people. Jimmy's up there on stage at his best, and all of a sudden, he just in the middle of a sermon, he stops and he tells his trumpet player, "Thomas, blow that horn." And the guy blows. He goes, no, blow that horn. He goes, pa, 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 pa. And Swaggart had you feeling like the rapture was coming that second. I never felt so much power. And then the next week, they had to put locks on the dumpsters at Jimmy Swaggart Bible College because so many kids were in the dumpsters having carnal knowledge, to keep it in biblical terms. In the dumpsters.
Well, I mean, nature, yeah, but that's my point. As you get more mature, you learn how to be more disciplined about that. But hey, listen, it was running rampant and probably still is. I mean, it's a byproduct of being next to that type of energy.
And Wayne, the truth of it is, and this is one of those uncomfortable, someone says, who NAMG names in a dumpster? Yeah, I thought the same thing. It was kind of an odd location for it. But and Jimmy Swaggart Bible College was so holy that even the trash was holy. So it was okay. But there's a reason, I think, Wayne, and this gets into uncomfortable territory even for us. There's a reason why there's such a fine line and such a powerful connection between the spiritual and the sensual, is because and if we could get past all the damage that's been done to us through Christianity, Judaism, Islam, and start realizing the true purity of this power and of this connection, we could begin to leverage it for good in this world.
I say it's powerful. I think it's one of the most unrecognized power sources that we have. Unfortunately, there's and I think it's a doctrine, a dogma, a force, a archon, however you want to describe it, that purposely channels our species energy off, siphons it off into this thing. And wow, Jeff, it just contends so much that if we just start teaching our children they are spiritual beings, not physical bodies, could you imagine what would happen?
TC's got it right on the head. But I mean, think of
energies, yeah.
Just right now at 8:21 Central Time on January the 13th, 2019, how many people in this world right now are engaged in various manifestations of the act of coitus?
Oh, I would say probably 1 billion.
At least 1 billion. Because there's 9 billion, 3 billion are just trying to wonder where they're going to eat next. So they're probably not thinking about that. But yeah, 1 billion conservatively.
But, even hunger drives the sexual desire even more.
That's true.
It kicks in the survival part of us.
Well, that's a weird question. How can I control my goosebumps and turn them off and on? Anyway, but I'm just saying, if there's 1 billion people engaged in some various act of coitus right now, think of that energy that's being produced. And of those 1 billion people, how many of them are directing it with any cognizant thought or intention towards anything good or beneficial? Probably almost none. No. And what could happen if we could move that needle even 2, 3, 4, 5, 10% Wayne, and get even 10% of all the coitus taking place on the planet at any given time being directed towards world peace, love, brotherhood, fellowship, hell, even a decent breakfast at Denny's, anything that would be helpful, which is a lot to ask. But
as you were talking, it just continues to occur to me. We don't realize our creative ability when we're in states like this, states of what we call cognitive consciousness, where we're interacting with reality. It keeps us occupied. But I contend it's those moments when, particularly sexual energy, when we talk about it, is that our species has been mistaught of the power of it.
Even within our genre, I know I interrupted you, but somebody puts in the chat room, Jack Parsons, L. Ron Hubbard, sex magic. The next person will mention Aleister Crowley. And yeah, Christians have screwed us up for 2,000 years over it. Some of the people within non-Christian, New Thought have messed it up too. But we're so programmed to resist it and say, no, it's bad. I mean, if there's 2 things in the Bible that are talked worse about than anything else, I think it'd have to be sex and witchcraft. And isn't it funny that those are both ways that we direct our intention? Back to your thought before you were so rudely
Well,
interrupted.
no, the sex energy is the thing that we've been so maligned with, and as you were saying, yeah, L. Ron Hubbard, there's been others out there that have perverted for their own perversions, self-perversions. And so as a result, it's like whoever first discovered chocolate, let's say the person was a womanizer. So does the whole society and all of the earth population discard chocolate? No.
Wayne, I went to a restaurant once and I had a bad meal, but that didn't stop me from eating.
Did you go back?
No, but I didn't stop eating.
Yeah. No, that's exactly the point. Listen, there's something to it. I have some really old books, for casting spells. And there's one on there just all about sex incantations. But when you read it, the problem I get from it is that I get the sense that I am only getting a synthesized truth of this, a version of it, by the person writing this. And so I've been on this little secret quest of going,
not
okay,
anymore, Wayne.
Not anymore. Damn it. Oops. But so there's tremendous evidence in these secret societies, in these cults. I mean, the cult of Bacchus that goes back almost 3,000 years ago. Even in Christianity today, there is still all the symbolism of this power.
There is. And as Madame Cat reminds us, sex magic is not just effective, it's a lot of fun.
You gotta love it. I was reading this book this weekend.
All you need is love. God is love.
Yeah. I also say God's a homosexual too, but
Bearded Canuck, we understand you can turn off your goosebumps. I don't know why you can do it, but can we move on?
Yes. And people get so offended when I say that. I'm going to say, well, I had to start somewhere.
Yeah.
We still love having sex with ourselves. Yeah, it's better when you get two people and people go, oh, you can't say that. Well, it's the truth.
I have a great friend of mine who's a really funny comedian. He says there's two types of men in this world. Those that masturbate and liars.
You see, this is not your normal Sunday morning.
It's not your normal Sunday show, but we're not saying that we're saying learn, direct.
Oh, Jeff, I mean, it's sometimes I look back and Lynn and I were talking last night and we were just laughing in the last 5 years, 60 months, as to how far we've come. Yet we can look back on those that considered us friends at one times in the Christian circles. They're still there.
Wow.
They how do I say it? There's no advancement.
It's called arrested development, I think.
Yes, sir. Boy, that is all right. That's a high five-star word right there. That's exactly
Thank you. But you get to that point where and I've been there and you've been there. You get to that point in Christianity where I've arrived. I know it all. I understand it all. I'm under the spout where the glory comes out, and may the world come to me and learn. And
I love that.
Very, very self-congratulatory.
Where'd you come up with that, by the way?
What?
I'll let the glory come out. What is the spout? You don't
know where I came up with that?
Where was that? I love it.
There's a man named R.W. Shambach. Jeffrey, get under the spout where the glory comes out.
I love the
Somebody raise both hands and shout hallelujah. You don't have any problems. All you need is faith in God.
That's it. That's it.
I stole that from R.W. Shambach, sure as I'm sitting here.
Well, I just think that's one of the most coolest things. I love that. I don't have to remember that. Okay, that's all right. I interrupted, but that was cool.
Well, we came to a pregnant pause there, Wayne.
Yeah, what happened?
I don't know what that was. That's interesting.
I'll tell you. I think they're switching over to 5G, and I think we're seeing all the effects.
When is that actually going to be rolled out? Does anybody know?
Verizon, I have a press release. They are turning them on in Los Angeles, Dallas, Denver, a number of cities. So it's rolling out now.
And I heard something and I started reading it, and it seems to be confirmed, but I can't confirm it with 100% certainty. But it seems like there is a nation that has been forefront in the pioneering of 5G technology, the development, the implementation. This certain nation is at the forefront of it, on the cutting edge. And curiously, there's no 5G in their nation, and they're nowhere near 5G. It doesn't look like there'll ever be 5G in that nation.
Really?
Why would that be, Wayne?
Well, now, that people say, well, this is verging on conspiracy, but hey, listen, they're putting 20,000 satellites up there. Every 500 yards, they're going to have a 5G tower. I don't know. It seems like that's almost a suppression net more than it is a communication grid. Oh, it's a grid.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It is. It is. It absolutely is. Something is going on. I'm going to pull something up for you, Jeff, because I wanted to see what you thought on this. So give me a second. I'm looking for something.
All right.
So just continue on with the thing that you do. So when we talk about the Vatican, and here we go. I knew I had it here. So let me pull something up for you.
Putin said no to 5G. I don't know. I'd like to. That'd be interesting, because they did outlaw microwaves in.
Yes,
Russia.
they did. Yeah, they did. Well, it tells you a lot more about Putin than what we have any idea about. Here we go. This is what I wanted to see. I found it. So, have you seen the reception hall for the Vatican?
I'm not convinced Putin's a bad guy, Wayne. And I have the one that looks like a snake.
Yeah. This one. This is my whole point. I mean.
And you don't just engineer that. Oops. No, that's done with thought and intent.
Thank you, sir. You see, I say that this is what we are worshiping.
That's called intelligent design right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir. There it is from the outside.
Interesting. It even looks like a snake slithering.
Doesn't it? Look at its head.
Yeah.
And it's a venomous head.
That is something else. Yeah, it's pointy, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. There's the scales when it's at night.
Wow. That's a snake.
That is a snake.
Here
is the Christ. This is Jesus. And both sides. Two different interpretations.
Yeah, to me, that looks like Jesus is a velociraptor.
Yeah.
And plastic Jesus indeed is.
A reptilian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's not real, but...
Yeah. So it's just this whole thing. Yeah, I just wanted to bring that out. I keep seeing this, and there is something we're missing. Something... Why is it that no one else recognizes this? So that there's just a small remnant. This is what I don't understand.
Even the eyes are perfect. How reptilians or, snakes have those multifaceted eyes.
This is Colossians 3:15, the multi-sided, multifaceted wisdom of God.
Yeah.
There it is.
Speaking of hidden truths and bringing out deceit and lies, tonight at 8 p.m. Central, so I think, or 8 p.m. Mountain, which is 7 Pacific, I believe, and 10 Eastern, we have a special presentation of The Last Stand with Laura Eisenhower. So we're looking forward to that.
Good. Laura's coming on. That's excellent. Laura's good people. She's
got a lot of great knowledge. I listened to one of her seminars yesterday, and boy, she can break it down.
Yeah, she can. And she's got the family bloodline to help bust a lot of that.
Some people say that her great grandfather was the last real president.
Grandfather, yes. Yeah, absolutely. I happen to think so. After Kennedy, we became, again, a puppet representation.
Absolutely. And somebody makes a good point. Bill H. says that, not only are they making this snake hallway, assembly hall, and I think that's actually called the Pope's Assembly Hall, Wayne, unless I'm
I think
incorrect.
it is.
So
It is.
not only are they doing it, but they're mocking us by putting it out in plain sight.
Yeah, it's right there. And then you have the prayer that's spoken at the midnight mass on Easter, the Luciferian prayer.
Absolutely.
And, there's a reason why they do it at that time. And
there is,
so you basically hail Lucifer and Jesus is Lucifer's son.
And I hate to say this, Wayne, but the statuary around Vatican City, there's statue after statue after statue, relief after relief after relief, depicting children being sexually abused. Right there in the statues, and we're all shocked that I just don't understand how we're so unsophisticated.
Well, Pope Pius X, I think, said it best back in 1416. Oh, what a prophet this Christianity and fable has been for us.
Absolutely. And guess what? For them, that business is still booming.
They're the richest real estate holder in the world.
Wow. I know the Mormon church is trying to catch them, right?
Yeah, but they got a long ways to go. Yep. So, as again, I was having this conversation. I said the problem with religion is this. Every religion's end game is to convert every person they meet. That means, in essence, that they are the antithesis of any other religion because they are now becoming the world religion.
Yep.
The problem with religion is just that it's religion. I mean, what's the goal of your religion? What? To proselytize everyone? Now you've got nothing but, wait a minute. That's the dominion, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a domain. That's a prison. I contend this.
And they have the dominion gospel in Protestantism today.
Exactly. I'll tell every Christian this. Tell me why your God demands to be worshiped. Why would he want worshipers? Why would God want another spirit to worship it?
Yep.
That is the epitome of an ego of narcissistic psychosis on a scale that you can't even compare. Oh, I guess that's why that son of a bitch, how many people has he murdered? How many of our species? How many billions?
The number does number into the billions. And Wayne, I think you'll join me and maybe we'll take a little segue right here. Someone in the chat room says that their grandmother passed away, I guess yesterday. It feels like she's still at home. They couldn't make themselves make breakfast. They're trying to deal with it. What would you say?
Well, number one, embrace her energy. If she's still there, there's a purpose for it. And consider yourself very fortunate. Not many true spirits linger behind. So there's something that it's obviously important for her that she's wanting to tell the family. And that doesn't surprise me one bit. Did she die in the home?
It didn't say.
Okay. That doesn't surprise me at all. We had an incident years and years ago with my ex-wife where her father passed away right in the house. And when we came back from the burial, in his bathroom, the mirror, and it was a heavy mirror, had been taken up and had been put to the side of his bed. And what we found in there was a letter.
Wow.
Now, how that got there, I don't know. But we could feel his presence. And don't be afraid of it. Listen, no ghost has ever harmed anyone except the one that was after Jeff. But and I think that's only because Jeff was it was at a weakened point in that time.
Yeah, I don't think, But I agree with you, Wayne. There's nothing to fear. Embrace her energy. Ask her if there's something that she's trying to communicate to you. Release her, let her go, let her know it's all right to move on. You love her, you appreciate her, celebrate her life. It might not be a bad idea to, if you have family around, to just sit together in the living room and celebrate her life, share the great memories, and release her to move on. But ask yourself and ask her. I would directly ask her. Get into a contemplative state. You might even want to make it a little bit of a ritual and ask her, do you have wisdom or information that you want to pass on to me? Because she might want to tell you where the money's buried.
Yeah, I just got the sense, and I don't know, folks, and whoever this is, but I get the idea of breaking bread as a family
Oh, that's a good idea.
and set a chair, set a place for grandma.
That's a great idea. One of my friends that was instructing me on mediumship and communicating with spirits, she said one thing you always want to ask them is, "Do you know where there's any money hidden?" Because some of them do.
Some of them do. They've been here.
Yeah.
It's really odd. I can say in the last 6 months, I don't have problems with energies anymore. There used to be a very crowded in here. And I guess I just got real with them because I told them this. I said, listen, if you want to have a voice and attention, you're going to have to manifest. And when you manifest, you're going to have to tell me what is the technology that allows you to take matter from the ether and bring it into material substance that a photon can measure it.
Yeah. And Wayne, how long ago did you say it was that you just had this shift in
about 6 months ago? That's 6 months ago.
Well, if I could say this, and you don't have to agree with me or not, but I think Wayne Steiger 6 months ago was more tuned in to, am I being attacked? Am I being pummeled? Is there something after me? And Wayne Steiger today doesn't give a damn because he came here to kick ass and chew gum. He's all out of gum.
I had one speak to me because I said, to one particular spirit that was bugging me, I said, when I get over on the other side, I said, I'm coming to kick your ass.
Yep.
And I immediately heard this. And it says, you've broken it.
Yep. I've got some great friends that are straight up legit archaeologists over in Egypt, and I won't call their names because being associated with people like us kind of sullies their scholastic reputation.
Oh,
it really does. It really does. And her husband, he's a big hermeticist and a thelemic, and he likes to go through all the rituals and stuff, and they go into places and tombs, and he'll do all the cleansing and the chanting, and he's probably, I can see him naked out there in the desert doing his stuff with his staff and his he's full blown Crowleying it up. And I asked his wife, do you ever do that? She's like, why would I? All of these things know that they can't mess with me. I don't have to waste my time doing all the dress up that he does. And I think that's where you are. You're like, psh,
I am. I have gotten that. I woke up. This has been a while. And this is what I woke up saying. My wife looked at me and said, what the? I said, the sleeper has awakened. Stood right up, and then went back to sleep.
I think you're right, Wayne. I think you're 100% right.
Yeah. Let me say this too, Jeff. When these deities get back in here, because I think that's exactly what they're doing, I contend that when we started all these nuclear explosions and everything, that there was a literal rip in the space-time fabric that I think we are seeing it today is an inundation of spiritual entities coming in from all over the galaxy, if not even the universe. You're looking at someone.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a refill. Wayne, you're exactly right. And that's the whole thing I was talking about with the Azazel. They literally were bringing in demons through it. It talks about, and what tipped me off on it was at the very beginning, the Cain and Abel story. If you'll remember, the being calling himself Yahweh says that the sin offering is crouched right at the door. It's waiting right there. And then if you come down into Leviticus where they're talking about the scapegoat, which Tyndale replaced the word Azazel, the proper noun, with scapegoat for no linguistic reason. They refer to that back again. The offering is at the door. The door of the temple, Wayne, the door of that temple and the tabernacle, that was a portal. They were creating a magic ceremony to bring in entities. And on the Day of Atonement, the highest day of the Jewish calendar, they're bringing in this entity Azazel, or at least they were until they got their temple destroyed. So when they are trying to bring these entities back in, and they are trying to bring in this Azazel because they think he can help them take over. And just to tie a bow on this, what was I going to say? I forgot it. You were right there, and it went past me.
Well, you were talking about the portal being open.
Yeah. The Holy of Holies.
Yes.
It's an inverse world, Wayne. So the Holy of Holies is actually the unholy of unholies. It's the most unholy place on planet Earth because there's such horrible interdimensional magic and travel going on.
Now you're speaking of Azael, of the chief of the 200, right?
Well, I'm not a big fan of,
the Fallen Watchers.
Well, I think the Book of Enoch, as we know it, is horribly corrupted and a forgery. But I'm not saying everything in there is wrong. But I think Azazel is Yahweh's boss, for lack of a better term. The being that's calling himself Yahweh, because Yahweh was actually doing sacrifice for himself to Azazel. Yeah,
and that's what it says right here, that he was the scapegoat for the rabbinical literature, the Targum. But
that word scapegoat is not in the original. It's the proper name, Azazel.
So
and Tyndale intentionally changed it, Wayne, for no good reason other than to hide the fact that they're doing demonic rituals.
And these demonic rituals, folks, they're if they're not bipedal, then they're intelligent. They're sentient.
Thank you very much. You know what, Wayne? Sometimes the Bible's true. What does it say? Ask and you shall receive.
I think that's true. I heard Zig Ziglar. I can remember back in the 70s at a conference that Zig was going on that.
One of the greatest things that Zig ever said was, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right.
You're right. That's exactly it. So there's a lot of people that write me that are coming.
Dude, Obama knew that, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Mm-hmm.
With your money.
So I often wonder. I told Lynn this last night when we have these great conversations, and I said something's building up. It's getting to the point. I wonder how much more this pressure vessel can take. How much more complete upheaval of our beliefs, our traditions, our core values, those things that we always perceive to be the stalwarts of our society, of our existence. I mean, it's all being turned upside down.
It really is, Wayne.
I get a lot of letters now, emails from people coming out of Christianity. One gentleman wrote me, he said,
Robert says it's not sustainable. He's echoing your thoughts.
It is. It's not sustainable. Thank you, Robert. And this is what one email particularly, a guy said, he said, I hated you. He said, when I first heard you, he said, you were offensive. You were a blasphemer of everything that I was taught that was sacred.
Maybe you're getting my emails, Wayne, by mistake.
I mean, what the hell? That's not Wayne. It's Jeff. But he said, what you caused me to do, and he listens to us here on Sunday as well. He said, you caused me to go search. And he said, I was going to prove you to be a liar.
Yeah, that's how I got here, Wayne.
It's happening.
And just, we say these woo-woo things too often, but I woke up this morning and I felt terrible. I felt really, really bad. I thought, I'm going to call Wayne. I'm going to cancel the show. I just don't want to do it today. But for some reason, I felt like I just needed to push forward, and I feel great now. So I think that for some reason, Wayne, we weren't supposed to do this show, but here we are, maybe just for the fact of the fellow with the grandmother that passed away. That
maybe
certainly makes it worth it all right there.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got to stop fearing that which we can't see.
Exactly.
Jeff.
David Icke makes a great point in his new book, and I didn't even realize this, but we see about 0.005 of 1%. We see 5,000th of 1% of the spectrum that's out there is all we're able to see. Can you imagine that? We're blind. We're effectively blind. We're blind people in a dark room searching for a black cat that's not even there.
Do you see that?
I do see that. What is that?
This is what's happening to us right now. We can't see what the full potential of our eye is able to actually see. in this document, it contends that this is what it's been for tens of thousands of years, is that there is a field that's emitted around our planet that they're right here next to us. They're right there in front of us. It's just that we can't see them because this is blocking it.
You know, I wonder, Wayne, I don't know enough about physiology and biology, but I wonder if the human eye is capable of seeing more and it's being blocked, or is the human eye just poorly manufactured to be able to see more than 1/1000th of what's really there?
I don't know. It's like the glasses you have. So you block out certain blue light.
Yeah, and then they really work to make my eyes feel so much better.
Well, so
like Jim Jones, but that's okay. People think I'm like Jim Jones anyway, so what's the big deal?
But it demonstrates what happens in the shift of our spectral view and what color shift. I think Laura will bring this out as well. I think they're right here. I think personally, and I'll stand by this, when I look up at the heavens now, I don't think it's what we're viewing. I know that sounds strange, and I'm not a flat earther, but I'm becoming more and more convinced that this is an artificial construct. And here's my point. There's a guy out there who did an experiment. He had a Nikon D900. Richie from Boston is who it was.
Okay.
And he went up downtown and he went and took the extreme zoom that his camera would go on an office building so far away.
Somebody was just talking about this to me. That's fascinating.
So he could not focus in on his Nikon D900 the details of the building at its furthest zoom in. But when he went to do the moon, he could see the craters in exact detail. So how
Did
can
he have
you
any
not?
idea how far away the building was, Wayne?
He estimated it was probably less than 4 miles, I think 5 miles away.
So is he saying by extrapolation that the moon is less than 5 miles away?
Well, he says that how can it be 238,000 miles away?
Given that it's much, much larger, but I see his point. His point is interesting. And I used to think that you guys were absolutely batshit crazy.
Yeah, I know.
About stuff like this. I'm like, come on, man. But then I started looking. I remember I was on Clearwater Beach looking at the sky one night, and I literally think I saw a mothership over the Scientology building. I'm like, wait a second. I haven't been drinking. I haven't been smoking. I haven't been toking. I haven't mushroomed, nothing. And then I start looking, and people are telling me, oh, the clouds are lower in the sky than they used to be. The sky's not blue anymore. The sun's not yellow anymore. I'm like, yeah, whatever, weirdos. But I start looking, I'm like, damn, it really isn't like it used to be.
I got a guy who sent me a detailed document, and I'm doing the research on it now, but he is contending that through history, our species has seen 5 different color suns. And
Wayne, I know everybody thinks that L. Ron Hubbard was just batshit crazy. And I used to think that the Zemu stuff was all made up, but I think the brother might have actually seen him. No.
I think that he was, let me just tell you, I don't know if he was a victim or if he was in collaboration, but he was fed information. He was fed documents.
I think he probably had dinner with Zemu.
Well, I think that, okay, so here's the conundrum. In one camp, we want to think that Homo sapiens sapiens are the top of the food chain and of the intellectual ladder. Yeah, we love the fantasy camp of thinking, UFOs, little gray men. Then we get over in our religious camp, but yet we will accept the fact that there are angels and demons. That's fact. You can't touch that. So here we live in this conundrum where we deny, we accept, and we reject. So my contention is this: we cannot be the only freaking spiritual beings in this universe. We can't be.
And please don't insult people. There's no reason for you to say that Richie from Boston is stupid and you unsubscribed. I just took your comment off. I don't agree with everything that Richie from Boston says, but look, he's forgot more about running a good YouTube channel than I know, so I'm not about to say anything bad about him, and we don't allow you to be rude to people on this channel.
He's got every right to his belief as you
He
do, Jack.
does.
And I tell people all of this. When you start writing rude comments, that's like walking into somebody's house and taking a dump right there in their living room and walk back out.
Well, I would say it's at least like walking in and drinking out of the milk jug, Wayne.
Well, I like to get real graphic about it. So I'm not going to come in.
And if Richie from Boston would like to come on the show and have a discussion, I'd be glad to have you.
He's like, listen.
And by the way, Wayne, I think that everybody right now should subscribe to the R. Wayne Steiger channel and should subscribe to the Christian Whistleblower channel where you are right now. And on the way out, before you go out, make your opinion known. If you like this show, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like the show, give it a thumbs down. Make your voice heard and subscribe to this channel and subscribe to Wayne's channel. And subscribe to
Richie of Boston.
Richie of Boston. Absolutely.
Yeah. Listen, we can
get. He's just an asshole with a computer, right?
We all are.
Yeah, we all are. Exactly. That's redundant.
It's just, it's funny because I used to.
Elizabeth Dominic says, I will. I haven't subscribed to Wayne yet, but she's going to, Wayne.
Well, thank you, Elizabeth. Very kind of you. It's like that bumper sticker I told you I saw in the Tropicana back in '89 was in Vegas. Jesus loves you because everyone else thinks you're an asshole. It's true.
That's true in my case, and Jesus don't even love me.
Oh, I tell you, Jeff,
because he's been busted out.
So I want to get your take on what the announcement this week to the world was about our magnetic North Pole.
Yeah, I watched your little mini show on that.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting stuff. It really is. And I was talking with somebody else. I don't know if anyone, feel free to chime in the chat room, but they said they were driving down the road and they know that they were going, I think it was due west, but yet their GPS and their compass in their car told them they were going like northeast or something.
Yeah. My compass is here. I've been here now almost 15 years in the same house. So when I got here, I put in on the outside concrete where north was. Got my compass. Okay. Yeah. It ain't there anymore. No, it's wandered off more to the northwest. Anyway, so
if I ever get lost in the woods, Wayne, I'm probably just going to slit my throat because I don't even know up and down. And that hasn't changed a bit. I'll just make it easy.
Hey, listen, the way I look at it, eventually, if you walk and you head out, you're going to find yourself in a circle, and then you can get your point of reference.
I'm smart enough to walk downhill. I could do that.
You could do that.
And, I learned some tricks from that movie with Alec Baldwin and Anthony Hopkins. What was that called? The Edge?
Yeah.
What a great movie that was.
That was intense.
And the one thing I took from that movie that has fueled me ever since, Wayne, he made this statement, two of them, and I finally got to use this one statement, but the one statement was, what one man can do, another can do. Oh. So if it's ever been done, you can do it.
You can do it.
You can do it. And another one he said was, never feel sorry for a man with the plane. Never feel sorry for a man with a plane. So Joe Rizzo, I will never feel sorry for you.
With a plane?
With a plane, yeah.
Yeah.
Never feel sorry. Because if a man has a plane, there ain't no damn reason for you to feel sorry for him because his problems are like your celebrations.
Exactly. Jeff, people, they're getting it. They're getting it. They are. I'm convinced of it. I had one letter from a delightful person. She just came out, of the Baptist religion. And of course, she's been facing a lot of persecution. And it got me to thinking, how many
that's in different places, says Cynthia.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. But she was saying it's amazing how much persecution she is facing amongst her, as she said, the people that she worshiped with. She said, than she has ever felt in anything. And I thought, I think that's how they're going to do it to us. As you become awake, you begin to make awareness of things. You start connecting to things. I think we become a bigger threat than I think anything that's out there.
Well, Wayne, you started the bumper sticker flood. Now someone says they saw one yesterday that said, support cannibalism, eat me.
And I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I'm thinking about all the stories here recently about people eating people.
I know.
You know?
I was on a date one time. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. We were in a store that had, kind of this trendy stuff, like joke store. I think it might have been Spencer's Gifts or something in the mall. And there was this sign that said, "Dyslexics untie." And this girl I was with probably wasn't any threat for the Mensa scholarship, but that's beside the point. And she walks by this poster that says "Dyslexics untie," and she goes, "Yes, dyslexics unite." And I'm like, okay. True story. True story.
Oh,
here's another bumper sticker. "The Earth is flat when viewed from Uranus." That's quality right there.
Oh, crap.
I don't know if that is a sticker, but it needs to be.
I tell you what, if we just learn to laugh, Jeff, invoke favor on everyone you meet. And, if someone asked me,
and Wayne, we're talking about all of these people that are against us. Somebody said they saw a license plate that says "sucks to be them." And it's going to suck to be them real soon, because we're going to win this thing. I'm telling you. I know that I may be the last of the eternal optimists, but we're going to win. We're not going out with a whimper. We're not going out in flames. We're going to win.
I think so. I think we offer. Someone said that when they come here and they listen to us, that we offer the opportunity for a person to figure it out for themselves. And I said,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's what we encourage you to do. Don't listen to Jeff and I. I mean, we're just two dudes having a great time on a Sunday morning.
And of course, the perfect bumper stick would be, "What does God need with a starship?"
Exactly. I like that one. I think I just thought of one. What does God need worshipers? And here's what my contention is.
What does God need with worshipers?
Yeah.
Anything that wants to be worshipped is not a God. That's a bottom line rule. Anything that wants to be worshipped is not a God. And any woman that wants to be a princess isn't a good long-term investment. Let me just throw that in there. Just trying to help a brother out.
Well, I married my queen, so I don't have to help a brother out. I love that. Well, this is the way I'm coming to it.
Somebody said to me, "Don't look for a princess that needs saving. Look for a queen that's ready to go to work."
I like that.
I like that too.
I like that. Listen, I just figure it's like this. I am ever so grateful to whatever higher intelligence other than myself figured this thing out and brought, Lynn into my life, because, once you get that balance there, it opens up others' channels. But,
absolutely. And Bill H says, "What kind of a God would have jealousy issues?"
Oh, so good, because
but
I
the
do
God
believe
of your Bible says, "I am a jealous God."
And a vengeful one.
I don't even want a jealous girlfriend, much less a jealous God.
Oh, Jeff. So this is what I was dreaming this morning. This is for somebody. It just came to me very strong. Upon death, someone asked, what will happen if you do face this God? And this is what I had this dream. And it's coming back to me very clear. I stood up before this council and declared, I have no legal contract against this God. This God has no legal contract to me. Do you know what happened to me? They set me outside and there was nothing to hurt me. It was like I was set outside and it was like this, wow.
You're outside of their domain.
Yes, thank you, sir. So it's this God of the Christian Bible, the God of the Torah, is a legalistic God. He demands that you have a contract. Does he not, Jeff?
He does.
Yeah.
A blood contract.
Yes, no less.
Another bumper sticker. I didn't say that. Jesus.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So if you've got the contract, make sure you void it. And by the way, there's a clause in that contract there is a particular section that if you've been you can't go into a contract if the contract is already based upon deception. It voids the contract.
Yeah.
Illegally, that's what I'm saying. So get yourself out of the contract.
Absolutely. 100%. I agree.
So
I 100% agree.
That's all I have to say.
And Wayne, I had my faith in humanity restored a little bit yesterday, and I knew this before this, but it still helped me. I did a podcast yesterday right in the middle of the game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the hell were they playing? The
Indianapolis.
Colts,
I think they were playing Indianapolis.
And there were still 400 people in the chat room, so I felt really good about that. Not everybody was watching the bread and circus.
Football is nothing more than a modern Roman day Coliseum.
It is.
It has all the elements. The same thing they did back then. They paraded naked women in these before the games.
Well, we never see that here, Wayne.
Yeah, we got our cheerleaders,
I'm kidding. We see that all the time.
But it's the same thing,
and it's like, what does the scantily clad girl got to do with the car? What does this scantily clad girl got to do with the beer?
I know this. I have a picture of one of the Masonic lodges that had the strippers in it.
They really had strippers in a Masonic lodge?
Yeah. You want to see it?
Dude. Yeah, let's see that.
Let me get the picture.
Is it PG-13?
Yeah. It was.
And somebody just said this, and I know it sounds so crazy, but I think it's true. I've done some research into it. I wouldn't be surprised if the NFL and all the other major sports are not rigged.
Oh, it's designed for one thing. As who was it that said in the movie Gladiator? Are you entertained?
Yeah. Are you not entertained?
Yeah. I mean, that's literally what it comes to. So let me get this thing, because this is
if you can find it.
Yeah, I can. It's weird.
I have made another discovery, Wayne.
And that is?
Not Your Normal Sunday Show has a powerful tranquilizing effect on large dogs.
Does it?
It does.
Is she
they're both laying right here just as content as they can be, soaking in the truth.
You gotta love them. Oh, I hope I can get this, because you have got to see this, Jeff. When I found this picture, it was one of those that you go, what?
I actually had it when I was a pastor. I had a lady come to me, quote unquote, for counseling. I think she was just looking for reassurance. She, Wayne, really believed that she was stripping for Jesus.
What?
Yeah, she was stripping for Jesus. She would strip, and the guys would, put dollar bills wherever they put dollar bills, and she would witness to them about Jesus and hand out chick tracts. In that instance, the chick tracts were a little different.
Okay, that's different.
That is different.
That's a weird position to be on, but here it is.
Somebody said I have antlers. I kind of do, don't I, with the chandelier behind me?
So here it is. This was taken in one of the lodges right here. There it is.
And that's not photoshopped.
Nope. No.
Wow, that's interesting.
We have her spreading her legs to the grand master there.
And look at that, Wayne. Her legs are spread almost in the same proportions as the compass or the protractor. What is that?
Yeah, well, these are, the mason.
Is that a compass? The thing that's on top of the G?
Yeah.
So look at her legs and look at the compass.
Yeah. All seeing eye. There it is. And if you put that pyramid between her legs, the eye is right where the action is. Yeah. I did this thing on the Brotherhood of the Snake. This is the one that rules us. Have you ever done anything into studying these guys?
Not so much, no.
May I encourage you to take a look into it?
Wayne, I'm a one-trick pony.
I know it. But so here it is. There's all the way back to Enki, Tiamat, Enlil. This thing, anyway, I just goes to show you how sometimes these Masons, as they like to call them, we're taught to be afraid of those symbols. And as a result, we never study them. We never determine the symbology of them and the knowledge. And I'm tired of it, Jeff. I'm tired of us being played like puppets.
Yeah. So please tune in later on today to see Laura Eisenhower. Tomorrow
what time
night,
is that?
It's going to be 7 Mountain,
Great.
8 Central. So that makes it 7 Pacific and 10 Eastern.
7 Mountain, be 6 Pacific, yeah. And then 9 Eastern?
I think it'll be 10 Eastern.
Okay.
The
I'm going to look
one
forward to it.
and only Laura Eisenhower. We're being very excited to have her with us.
That's excellent. She's great person.
Oh, and on Wayne, do you remember the Power Hour radio show?
I do.
For some unknown reason, I'm back on there tomorrow night. They must not do their research. They have no idea who I am, but I'm coming on there to talk about the Mandela effect again. So it should be at least interesting.
I think that is cool. There's more and more research being done on that, and I think some of us are starting to figure out what's going on here.
And some people are now beginning to be aware of both timelines, Wayne, which is very interesting.
Very interesting. I contend that the space-time continuum, the fabric of it, has been ruptured, and I think that there's an opportunity for escape here.
I do too. I'm wondering if everything's condensing, and that's why it's so. I had an old shamanic friend that said that everything is condensing.
I like that.
So there's the gaps and the veils are of necessity even becoming more thinner, and everything's more compressed.
Well, I know this, Jeff. We are the light beings. We are the ones. I know that the other side sees us, as one person wrote me, their pastor apparently watched us, and they don't like us. They don't like me particularly as well. I mean, someone said
somebody said that the no drama llama picture looks curiously like Jeff this morning. It sort of does.
Now that I'm looking at it, it does.
It's a little scary.
Hey, you got to love it. The synchronicity is beyond, you can't manufacture this.
No, you can't.
I love this.
Well, Wayne, it's been another great program. I'm glad I didn't call you to cancel.
I'm glad you did too. I'm glad you sucked it up cupcake, and because look what you did. You did.
This ain't no place for delicate snowflakes.
Yeah. There's a lot of good. This is good today. Every Sunday is. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, folks, thanks to you for being in the chat room, and somebody's all excited because there's 420 in the chat room right now.
420.
420. Aye. But subscribe to Wayne Steiger's channel, our Wayne Steiger. Subscribe to this channel, and on the way out, if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. Let your voice be heard. Wayne, what do you have coming up this next week?
We're doing, I have my normal noon show, Mountain Time, and we're going through the alien interview, and we're about to get into a new book that I think it's going to be another one of these pulling back the onions. So that's it. Next Friday night, by the way, over on my channel, we're going to actually do a group healing hour.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Thank you, my friend, and appreciate you, Jeff.
You as well, my brother. Nice to see all of you here. We give you a salute. It's still at 420, so everybody have fun.
All right. Gotta love it.
Wayne,
all right, Jeff.
Great show. Thanks so much.
Thank you, sir.
Best to you and Lynn. Have a great week.
All right. Bye-bye, buddy.
Take care. Love to everyone. Love and light and favor to everyone here.
Yes. Bye-bye.